And if anybody wants to come and tell me a certain truth, I'm going to be very happy. Because on that certain truth, I will build. My mind will be able to build more and more truth. If I want to be free from truth, I'm going to just clean the floor. There's going to be nothing there. G.K. Chesterton once said that his good common sense, he said, the mind is like the mouth. It opens in order to close on something, like the mouth eating. I don't open my mouth in order to keep it open. I open my mouth in order to put something to eat inside and then close my mouth and eat. I don't keep an open mind in order to have an open mind. I keep an open mind like an open mouth in order to absorb something that's worth thinking and believing and accepting, and then to close my mind on truth. The mind is meant to be closed on truth. The mind is not meant to be indefinitely open and free. Try to tell modern people that, oh no, they don't adore God, they don't love God. God is not number one, liberty is number one. They adore liberty. Liberty is an idol, I-D-O-L. It's an idolatry, there's an idolatry of liberty. For anybody who thinks, stops and thinks for 2 moments, liberty is not where it's at. Liberty is a stage. Liberty is like the open mouth. The open mouth is in order to close it on something to eat, and in order to eat. The open mind is in order to close on some truth, to digest the truth, and move on to the next truth. The Catholic Church gives to us Catholics a great deal of truth. And when it lays down the truth, unless this defines the truth, and then says, this is certainly true, boy, I should be happy. I often quote a certain Englishman from the 19th century who said, he was probably a convert, there were some good converts in the 19th century, and he said, I would be very happy if every morning with my copy of the Times, which is a famous English newspaper, with my copy of the Times, there arrived a new defined dogma. Why? He's right. Because he had the good sense to see that if the church defined the dogma, that's a certain truth with which his mind can build, which is going to strengthen his mind, and with which his mind is going to build. He does not want his mind to be freed from dogma. He wants to be his friend. He wants his mind to be freed by dogma from error. Good sense. But that's not the way people today see it. And therefore, doctrine is the liberation of the mind from error. Catholic doctrine, not communist doctrine, not Freudian doctrine, not Marxist doctrine. Catholic doctrine is the liberation of the mind from error. The ability, the chance for the mind to build a bridge to heaven, to go to heaven. To refuse Catholic, why? What is liberalism? Liberalism is, it's named from liber, meaning free. And it is the adoration of liberty. I want my mind to be free from truth, or free from reality. I want my mind to be free to accept anything that it wants to accept. And I want it to be free to refuse anything that it wants to refuse. That's liberalism. And then, following on the liberation of the mind, will be the liberation of the will. I want my will to be free from any law that I don't consent to. Truth and law are only to be what I consent to. I am going to do one that says what's true. I am going to be the one that says what's right and wrong. That's liberalism. That's the heart and soul of liberalism. And it's no good. It's no good because the one that I am the way, the truth, and the life, truth comes essentially from God, especially the truths of the creed, especially the truths instituted by our Lord Jesus Christ, like the Holy Eucharist and transubstantiation. That's an extraordinary truth, that God is present really, truly, and substantially with body, soul, body, blood, soul, and divinity, body, blood, soul, and divinity, beneath the appearances of bread and wine. That's crazy, but it's true. And there is obviously a dogma, a truth that the Protestants refused and still refuse. Now what's the difference between refusing that truth and accepting that truth? To accept the truth of transubstantiation is to accept that God is sensationally good. He puts himself, like he humbled himself once to become human, a human being in the Incarnation, he humbles himself again and again and again to come beneath the humble appearances of bread and wine in order to nourish our souls, supernaturally, with his own body and blood. That's the true God. Then when the Protestants say transubstantiation is not true, they are gravely underestimating, understating, gravely denying a stupendous chunk of piece of the goodness of God. If you to accept transubstantiation or to deny transubstantiation is not just to submit to a dogma or allow oneself to be imprisoned by a dogma or to free oneself from a dogma. So that's not it. Behind the acceptance or refusal of transubstantiation is two completely different estimates of the goodness of God.